Welcome back to a very Hibiki Halloween, right here on Hibiki TMD, where we take a look at some of my all-time favorite horror-themed video games. Today is another classic, and you can't go wrong with this one. In 1988, Namco released Splatterhouse in the arcades. At the time, nothing this violent or gory besides the game Chiller had been seen before. By the time the game was ported to the PC Engine in 1990, the graphics were about on par as the arcades, but one thing was definitely noticeable: the censoring. The censoring of the game from the arcade was ridiculous. So many things were taken out. The backgrounds were changed, even the color of Rick's mask was changed from white to red. But at the end of the day, it was still a good game. Censorship or not, it didn't really affect the playability, and pretty much the core game was still intact. Namco took the series onto another console for the sequel in '92 with Splatterhouse 2 for the Sega Genesis. Now the sequel, Splatterhouse 2, picked up where the original left off, but added a difficulty setting and a password feature, which came in very handy. Splatterhouse series of games definitely doesn't hold back in the difficulty. Unless you know the right spot to stand exactly at the right time, you can go through the game without getting touched, but otherwise you're going to get your ass kicked. Let's take a look. As the protagonist Rick once again, you return to the mansion from the first game. You originally thought your girlfriend Jennifer was dead, but the terror mask who consumes Rick throughout the series lets Rick know that there's a good chance she may still be alive and he needs to go check out the mansion. So off Rick sets out in his quest to search for his beloved Jennifer. Yep, and once you start playing, you know it's Splatterhouse. Everything from the first game returns playability-wise. The weapons definitely get an overhaul in the second, as there's a shotgun, all sorts of new tricks up Rick's sleeve. The difficulty, like I said, is right there. The graphics are pretty good and much better than the first, but considering this came out later, that's no surprise. One of my major gripes though throughout the first two Splatterhouse games, the jumping does seem really stiff. It is hard to manage this platforming sometimes, and it can be tricky. Nonetheless, it shouldn't hold you back from experiencing one of my favorite video games, Splatterhouse 2 for the Sega Genesis. Splatterhouse 2 did in fact have a sequel on the Sega Genesis, but that's for next time. Stick around, we're going to check out Splatterhouse 3.